The sun dipped below the horizon, casting an eerie orange glow across the desolate landscape. Shadows stretched long and thin, twisting familiar shapes into ominous figures. The wind whispered through the sagebrush, carrying with it an unsettling silence. This was Skinwalker Ranch, a place where the veil between our world and the unknown seemed perilously thin. Located in the heart of the Winter Basin in Utah, the ranch had long been shrouded in mystery. For centuries, Native American tribes had spoken of strange occurrences within its borders. Tales of unexplained lights, vanishing cattle, and terrifying creatures echoed through generations. As darkness enveloped the ranch, the sense of foreboding intensified. The air grew heavy, charged with an unseen energy. It was as if the very land itself held its breath, anticipating the unknown. Tonight, something was different. Something was amiss. Skinwalker Ranch was no stranger to the bizarre. Nestled in the remote Uinta Basin of Utah, this enigmatic location has long been a focal point for tales that defy rational explanation. For decades, its desolate expanse had been a hotbed of paranormal activity. The land itself seemed to hum with an otherworldly energy, drawing the curious and the brave to its eerie confines. Ranchers whispered tales of cattle mutilations, their bodies drained of blood and marked with surgical precision. These gruesome discoveries were not isolated incidents, but rather a recurring nightmare that haunted the ranchers' lives. Others spoke of strange lights dancing in the night sky, their movements defying the laws of physics. These lights would appear without warning, performing aerial maneuvers that left even seasoned observers baffled. In 1994, the Sherman family, the ranch's then owners, went public with their terrifying experiences. Their accounts were filled with chilling details that painted a picture of a place where the normal rules of reality did not apply. They described encounters with wolf-like creatures impervious to bullets, unexplained crop circles appearing overnight, and a pervasive sense of dread that permeated the very air. These wolf-like creatures were said to be larger than any known species, with eyes that glowed ominously in the dark. Their stories, met with both skepticism and fascination, thrust Skinwalker Ranch into the spotlight of the unexplained. Media outlets and paranormal enthusiasts alike flocked to the ranch, eager to uncover the truth behind the legends. The Shermans eventually sold the ranch to Robert Bigelow, a wealthy aerospace entrepreneur with a keen interest in UFOs and the paranormal. Bigelow's purchase marked a new chapter in the ranch's mysterious history. Bigelow established the National Institute for Discovery Science, NIDS, to conduct rigorous scientific research on the ranch. His team of scientists and researchers set out to document and analyze the strange phenomena reported by the Shermans and others. Their findings, though never officially released, only deepened the mystery. Reports of unexplained phenomena continued to surface, from strange electromagnetic readings to sightings of unidentified flying objects. The ranch remained an enigma, a place where the line between reality and the supernatural seemed to blur. The latest chapter in the Skinwalker Ranch saga began on a crisp autumn morning. The air was cool and crisp, the kind of morning that promises a productive day ahead. The sun was just beginning to rise, casting a golden hue over the sprawling landscape of the ranch. Workers were arriving, ready to tackle the day's tasks, unaware of the mystery that awaited them. As the workers prepared for their daily activities, they stumbled upon something utterly inexplicable. A massive water tank capable of holding 45,000 gallons was completely empty. This tank was crucial for the ranch's operations, providing water for livestock and irrigation. The sight of it, devoid of water, was both shocking and perplexing. The water, essential for the ranch's operations, had vanished overnight, leaving behind no trace and no explanation. The workers stood around the tank, scratching their heads, trying to make sense of the situation. How could such a large volume of water disappear without a trace? It was a question that hung heavily in the air. The sheer volume of water that had disappeared defied logic. 45,000 gallons is no small amount. To put it into perspective, that's enough water to fill a small swimming pool. The idea that it could simply vanish overnight was beyond comprehension. There were no signs of leakage, no evidence of evaporation, and no indication of theft. The ground around the tank was dry, ruling out the possibility of a leak. The tank itself was intact with no visible damage. It was as if the water had simply ceased to exist. It was as if the water had simply ceased to exist, swallowed whole by the earth itself. Thermal imaging showed no presence of water underground, further deepening the mystery. The workers were left with more questions than answers. The baffling incident sent shockwaves through the ranch. Conversations buzzed with theories and speculations. Some workers suggested it was a prank, while others whispered about supernatural forces at play. The atmosphere grew tense as the day wore on. Workers, already on edge from the ranch's sinister reputation, grew increasingly uneasy. Skinwalker Ranch was no stranger to strange occurrences, but this was something entirely different. The unexplained disappearance of such a large quantity of water was not merely strange, it was deeply unsettling. The unexplained disappearance of such a large quantity of water was not merely strange, it was deeply unsettling. The workers' faces reflected their unease, their minds racing with possibilities. What could have caused this? Was it a natural phenomenon or something more sinister? It served as a stark reminder that on Skinwalker Ranch, the impossible had a way of becoming reality. The ranch, with its long history of unexplained events, continued to baffle and intrigue. This latest mystery was just another chapter in its enigmatic story, leaving everyone wondering what would happen next. The disappearance of the water immediately sparked a flurry of scientific investigation. The event was so perplexing that it drew the attention of researchers from various fields, all eager to apply their expertise to solve the enigma. Researchers from NIDS, equipped with state-of-the-art equipment, descended upon the ranch, determined to unravel the mystery. They brought with them an array of tools designed to measure everything from electromagnetic fields to chemical compositions. They analyzed soil samples, tested for radiation, and searched for any geological anomalies that could explain the vanished water. The soil was scrutinized for any unusual properties, and radiation levels were meticulously recorded to rule out any radioactive activity. Despite their best efforts, the scientists were baffled. The data they collected was consistent with what one would expect from a typical rural area, showing no signs of the extraordinary. Their instruments revealed nothing out of the ordinary. The readings were normal, and there were no spikes or anomalies that could point to a cause for the water's disappearance. The ground showed no signs of sinkholes or underground rivers that could have drained the tank. Geologists conducted thorough inspections using ground-penetrating radar and other advanced techniques to search for any hidden cavities or water channels. The water, it seemed, had vanished without a trace, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions. The empty tank stood as a silent testament to the inexplicable event, a mystery that seemed to deepen with every passing day. The scientific community, accustomed to rational explanations, struggled to make sense of the event. Meetings were held, theories were proposed and debated, but none seemed to fit the facts at hand. Some theorized that a highly localized and intense weather phenomenon, perhaps a microburst with an unusual updraft, could have lifted the water into the atmosphere. This theory, while intriguing, lacked concrete evidence and was difficult to prove. Others suggested the possibility of a rare geological event, such as a sudden and localized shift in the water table. This could potentially explain the disappearance, but again, there was no physical evidence to support this hypothesis. Yet none of these explanations fully accounted for the sheer volume of water that had vanished or the complete lack of any physical evidence. The tank had held thousands of gallons, and the idea that it could simply disappear without a trace was almost beyond belief. The mystery of the disappearing water, like so many other strange occurrences on Skinwalker Ranch, seemed to defy conventional understanding. It was as if the ranch itself was a place where the normal rules of reality did not apply, a place where the inscrutable met the scientific, and the scientific was left wanting.